Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Footy Show. Champions League is back.
Having a laugh.
Not for us. Is he having a laugh? Not for us, obviously.
No, obviously, because we're not in the Champions League. Obviously.
You know, what would that be? That entail being in the Champions League. Mr. Kalina, you cheating, horrible cheat fella. Who turned, what was it, 59 or something this week? You wouldn't have got to 59 of Evertonians, would have got that.
Not that that's all bitter.
No, I'm not bitter in the slightest. Cheating bastard. Champions League, back. Crept up. It's crept up, I think, this Champions League.
Has it, yeah?
Because I'm not really that interested in it. And then all of a sudden, there was games. But United played PSG on Tuesday night. Manchester United, who had won 10 of Solskjaer's opening 11 games, playing against PSG. Neymar, less.
Cavani.
Garner, less.
Well, yeah.
And PSG went and won 2-0.
They did.
Upset the apple cart. What did you make of that? Is it a shock? Should we be shocked?
No.
Why?
PSG are a much better team. Better team. Nearly every player on the pitch is better. So I don't think it's an issue. I don't think I've seen a few people making a few things. You know, it's all over it. Man United and all that. It's like when that draw was made, PSG were bang on favourites to win it because they're a very.
Well, that was just Mourinho as well.
But they're a very good football team, and Solskjaer has only played at one level so far, Premier League level, and this was different. And when you've got players like PSG, and when you've got players, you know, okay, they've got no Neymar, they've got no Cavani, but they've got people like Draxler and Di Maria and people like that. You know,
Danny Alves
and Danny Alves, and then you add that to obviously a certain young Frenchman, and you know, they've got a really good side. I think that's what they showed tactically with Thomas Tuchel. He seems to have a good nous of what's going on, and you know, with Mbappe and his pace for that second goal, then you've always got that chance. And Man United looked a little bit toothless, and Paris Saint-Germain took a very commanding lead now.
1-2-0, obviously 55% of the ball, so you have more of the ball, more shots. United have 1 shot on target from 10 attempts. I mean, looking through, obviously going through the lineup, you just said no Cavani and no Neymar, which is massive. But you're right, and with Mbappe, you've always got that out ball. They've got Di Maria, who was getting booed, and had quite a vociferous celebration. Had stuff thrown at him. He laid on both goals, 2 assists on the night. He was joined obviously in midfield by Draxler, Verratti, you know, Bernat, who come from Bayern Munich, Alves, who've been at Barca.
It's not a bad football team, is it? It isn't
bad. Obviously for United, they lost Lingard through injury, didn't he? Martial through injury at half time. They both went off. Yeah. And the second half, I think PSG took over a bit, didn't he? And you know, obviously then Paul Pogba was sent off in the last minute, so he misses the second leg. So you'd say that PSG are massive favourites, obviously, if they weren't favourites already to progress to the next round. And that's what I would say, excuse me, that's a massive scalp for them. Not because of the team v team, as you just said, PSG's team is excellent, but the name of Manchester United in this part of their development and bid to become a world famous top elite club, to go to United and beat them and then to knock United out of the Champions League, I think that gives them a little notch on their bedpost, so to speak.
Yeah, I think, listen, Man United are not the side you attach to the name, of course, they're not. So I think for Paris Saint-Germain, that's what, maybe in this stage of the competition, they've beaten somebody that they haven't had to do much to beat, and then it's the quarter-finals that have been catching them out. But I think beating Manchester United home and away could just give them that confidence, the breathing room to get Cavani. I don't think Neymar's going to get back for the season, though. Doesn't. But what this game shows me is they don't actually need him. And I listened to a couple of pundits after the game who were saying, well, maybe that's the point. Maybe they don't need him, and they can set up a little bit more defensively with Mbappe on the counter attack, and maybe that leaves them a little bit more conservative. They've got the tools to beat these teams, just that they're always leaving the door open because they're got too much
openness in. I suppose if they get Cavani back, he's a handful anyway, isn't he? And he works a little bit harder.
People like Draxler he's going to work. He's not better than Neymar. We know he's not better. But sometimes it's that thing of maybe you've got too many attacking players, and that the balance is not right. And maybe this will open the door. And I know they didn't have Neymar last season when they got knocked out by Real Madrid, but it's a year on, and this team are learning all the time. And at some point, they're going to have to make that step.
And they went close last year against Real Madrid, but Ronaldo sorted that out, and Real Madrid haven't got Ronaldo this year.
Well,
so.
I think a lot of it comes down to nous. It comes down to understand. Look at. I know we're going to talk about Real Madrid in a minute, but look at Real Madrid. They go into this competition, and they stumble around, and then when it's time to switch on, when it's business end, they do what they need to do to win, and then when they get to the final, they've got all the nous in the world in that one-off game. So Paris Saint-Germain have got to get that.
A big game, just a thing for on the back of that just being announced that Mourinho and his team took 20 million quid to pay them off to get them out of United, him and his coach and stuff.
That's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem now. You want big name managers, you've got to pay big money, and if they don't do the job, you've got to get rid of them. And I know we can talk about Everton when we talk about that, because you know we're still counting the costs from the managers from the past, and people are looking at wanting a new manager. Mourinho, who has been Mourinho gets the Everton job tomorrow, doesn't he?
Mourinho gets
going to Twitter.
The Everton job.
Yeah, he gets it
Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, he gets it.
Usmanov.
Yeah.
Mourinho in, and there was the three things, wasn't it?
Silver lead.
Was it silver lead?
Yeah. Nah.
I mean,
I'm not heard anything yet, but he's free now. Could do for nothing.
Well, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? But just very, very interesting, obviously.
20 million though, that's ridiculous.
20 million quid.
20 million.
Not bad work if you can get
20 million on failure. Having to spend 20 million on failure.
This is like you just said about Everton, that's a big thing I suppose Evertonians don't always look at. You just think, I've got loads of money. This fella's got the dough, he says he has. Yeah. But you can't keep bringing people in, sacking them, kicking them. And I know people will say, yeah, but you can't keep managers that can't perform. That's right, but you have to weigh the whole thing up, don't you, and think, imagine if we did sack Silva now and it cost them, it cost 15 million to
I'd say what I would be really interested in, I'd love to know what Paris Saint-Germain would have to give Thomas Tuchel if they sacked him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like an up-and-coming manager who's well, he's not even up-and-coming. He's been at Dortmund and now he's at Paris Saint-Germain. It'd be interesting to know what that looks like, and whether clubs are starting to learn the lessons, and whether these sort of younger German or younger European managers hold the weight that other managers like Mourinho is Mourinho, or is Mourinho and Pep the last sort of managers you can absolutely hang your hat on, let's say, because of the way the system works, because of now directors of football and things like that. I mean, you're having a good think about it.
No, I know, but I don't know, because there's up and coming managers though, isn't it, as well?
But that's what I'm saying. But when you get to a certain
level,
no, I don't. It's not a level as such. What I mean is that are we in a new era of managers where the manager doesn't have the power as much, so therefore does not get as much of a bigger contract, and is willing to work within that, is almost willing to work in a system that is a benefits and the reward is not winning thing, but you are rewarded for what you win rather than rewarded for just walking in the job.
Being who it is, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously, like when Allardyce came into Everton, we know that he got a big bumper contract because he was coming in for 6 months. He wanted to be paid for 18, but because he thought he could probably turn the owner around a bit. But he wouldn't get a contract anywhere near that anywhere else in the world.
No.
If Barcelona, Real Madrid said to Sam Allardyce, because he can manage them apparently according to him, come in, he'd get like 2 million quid or something.
Well, at the end of the day, it's the reward, isn't it? Yeah. It's what you're coming in for.
Yeah.
You're coming into if you hold all the cards, then, and I suppose that's the thing now. Big clubs are like, well, if it's not you, it's him. We all right. So, do you want to manage us? You know, are you prepared to come and manage us? So can you deal with the pressure of managing us? That's the thing, isn't it now? And therefore, you know, whether it be a decent contract or a short contract more than anything, isn't it? It might be you might get X amount of millions a year, but if your contract's only for 2 years, then if it doesn't go right, then you're out the door and you're not going to get much of a payoff. So that's the way it should be. I think managers should be on short-term contracts.
But then I suppose the clubs, it's mad, isn't it? Because as a club, you want both ways, don't you? You want to protect your investment, and you want to be able to get them out.
But the way I look at it is that, I suppose, is that if you've got a manager and he's on let's say he's on a 4-year contract and he's halfway through and he's doing well and someone comes in for him, what are you really going to get out of it nowadays? It's not like you're going to get millions and millions and millions of pounds. You might get a few million quid, is it? I mean, in terms of what you could lose the other way.
But then again, we offered 20 million for our manager now. Well, I'm just saying though, that's the madness of it all, isn't it? But interesting times, and obviously Marino's walked out. The other game on Tuesday night was obviously Roma 2, Porto 1. Roma took a 2-goal lead, Zaniolo with both goals, and then 3 minutes later Adrian Lopez pulled one back for Porto to make that second leg
a bit more interesting.
Really interesting. Roma getting a new stadium, things moved. They just had the go ahead, haven't they, now, I believe, this week to start it and everything else. So a bit of a, enabled them to go again. So
it will do, because I think we don't appreciate how important having your own stadium is in Italy. It's not a big thing over there. A lot of the stadiums are owned by the cities. And I think Juventus are one of the first clubs to actually go who went and bought their own stadium. And even though it's only like a 40,000 stadium, to them it's theirs. They make all the money out of it. Whereas beforehand it was this soulless bowl. People didn't want to go to it. Because I think the problem with somewhere like Rome, right? If you were going to Rome, let's say on holiday, would you? It was you and your missus, let's say, and you were like, "Fancy going to see a Rome game?" And then you go, "Well, say it was like a jolly, whatever, like stag do or something." And you're like, the violence, you know people get slashed and all the stuff. And I think when you have these municipal bowls outside this, far from the city centre, but if you've got a new stadium, I think it with a lot better sort of traffic and public transport and stuff like that, I think there's a less threat. So that's going to attract more touristy fans, and that's what clubs rely on nowadays is bringing that tourist money in.
Well, who we know, had actually gone to this game and ended up being locked in a pub for half an hour while the police cleared because there was violence outside. You're actually going to Lazio in the Europa League to watch them as well, because in Italy for a few days. Lazio were at home in the Europa League, so hopefully stay safe.
Fair play.
But they're through. They've got a league going into the second leg. On to Wednesday, Ajax 1, Real Madrid 2. History made. The first goal disallowed by VAR in the Champions League. Dusan Tadic ruled to be offside. Tagliafico, I think it was, who scored for Ajax. So VAR playing its role. People aren't happy with it.
Why aren't people happy?
Because it's VAR.
Oh my God, get with them now.
But when you actually see it, he's offside. He's also in the goal.
Well, that's why he was given offside.
Yeah, he's right in the goal. He's like affecting the player, the ball, the flight of the ball. So you can't really moan, I don't think, too much on it. Benzema, who seems to be in a good bit of form at the minute, scored after an hour. Ziyech equalised before Asensio, 3 minutes from the end, gave Real the advantage.
I'm led to believe that your friend and my friend, Sergio Ramos,
lovely man,
got himself booked very, very late into this game so that he will miss the second leg.
Yeah, has now admitted he done it on purpose, which is ridiculous, because now there's calls for him to be suspended for a further game for deceiving the officials, allegedly.
Why? How's he deceived them?
Because he's done it on purpose, basically.
Wouldn't you do?
Well, it's ungentlemanly conduct.
Don't you do every foul on purpose?
It's to deliberately get booked. They would argue when you foul someone, it's within the laws of the game. You're trying to stop a goal. Or
Didn't you get booked for deliberately trying to get booked?
Maybe. And if that's the case, then that's it. But that's the thing, is that they're looking into it now, and it may well end up in a further game ban if they get.
Why are these? What I don't quite understand. Yeah, why admit it? Why not just be like, yeah, I mistimed it, and I'm devastated to miss the next game.
Oh yeah, because it'll be a tough game.
So why did he have to admit it?
It's just, well, that's what they do, don't they? I mean, he's done this before, hasn't he? Famously, he got booked in the 89th minute of the game. So, but he done this in 2010 when Mourinho was the manager. They gave a message to Dudek, who then went and warmed up, and he passed the message on, and then the goal, he passed it on to the keeper. The keeper then ran over to Ramos, had a word in his ear. A minute later, goes and gets deliberately booked, and then is out the next game and able to come back. So he's got previous. What more can you say? But a really good result for Real Madrid in that big win. You're right, in them Champions League, they just come to life, don't they? And they'll be tough no matter who gets them, you know, even without Ronaldo. Spurs, what a performance. Tottenham 3, Dortmund 0. Dortmund obviously leaders of the Bundesliga in good form, coming to Spurs, who are now in great form again. Son again. Son again, getting them up and running. 3-0 in Son, Vertonghen and Fernando Llorente, 2 goals late on for Spurs.
Vertonghen playing wing back, setting one up and scoring one.
But if you remember, he was wing back when he first went in there. Played left wing back for them.
His ball for the first goal was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, and the movement from Son was incredible.
He's on fire, isn't he? He really is. He's hot, like the sun.
Put that man out.
Oh, but he's absolutely brilliant. I mean, 53% of the possession, 15 attempts to 6. Dortmund 5 attempts on target from their 6. Spurs 5 on target from their 15. Good win, good side. And you just wonder with Spurs, if they'd have gone into their own stadium as well, how much more could that have given them this season? Because they're a really good side. I would say is
though, I mean, listen, they should get through this, and it'll be interesting to see who they get next. And I think that's.
But they're talking Kane will be back as well.
Yeah, that's the stage. They slipped up at this stage. The quarter-finals last year, wasn't it? When Juventus came, and obviously that's where the big boys. But you're right, they were going into their own stadium, and it would be interesting. Be really interesting. But listen, we know on the day they can be a really good side, but then you can also not throw stuff away, but they are
Spursy.
The problem with Spurs is that, I mean, obviously they win a lot of games and they lose some, and they don't draw many, and that's why they're still in the top, just near the top teams, is because they don't draw many, and that point isn't a big thing. So they go for the wins, and we know what that means. But I think at times you've maybe just got to know how to see out games, even if it doesn't mean winning it, just seeing those out. And if they're not an open team, of course they're not, but if you give up the opportunity to people in the Champions League, they're going to take it. And I just think they've got to find that balance of when to go for stuff and when to just be like, no, we're going to be alright here.
Well, they need to just go to Dortmund and see that out, don't they? The 3-0 up, it'd be a massive disappointment for them not to get through now. Dortmund over there will be very, very interesting, because they can be obviously.
Do you think that? I mean, listen, it's too early to say, but do you think the fact that Man United losing and get this could be them going through, could be the thing that sways the people who make the decisions at Man United?
Possibly, because they're going to be in the quarter-final. Should they go further than if they get into the semi-finals, then you're going to look at them and go, "It's got Spurs into the semi." It's you know what? It's a really, really. It's going to be really pivotal for Tottenham these next 6 months, because they're moving into the new stadium. Fantastic.
Next 3 months.
3 months, but it looks incredible, doesn't it? We've seen someone. I don't know whether you've
seen. It's going to happen. It's happening. It's built, isn't it?
The stadium's absolutely fantastic, so that's a great thing for them. But what I mean is, if they end up with nothing, and Pochettino decides to jump ship,
will he well end up with nothing this season?
Win the Champions League.
They're not going to win the Champions League.
Well, I'm just saying.
Let's keep
while they're in it, they've got an opportunity. They get Dele Alli and Harry Kane back. They've got a world-class goal scorer and a lad who can get goals from midfield. You don't know. I would have said Liverpool were never getting there last year, and they got. That's because you have that fear. But if you would have been from Southampton, you'd have looked at Liverpool and gone, they could do, but I don't know. the next minute they almost won it. So you don't know. Or conversely, you look at Real Madrid last year, they were struggling and go, they won't win it. They're not strong. Liverpool will beat them. Real Madrid battered them. So you don't know with Spurs. You're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is, if they end up with nothing, and he looks and United come to him and go, listen, big wedge, you've already got some world-class play. Well, you've already got some really good players, and we'll give you money and you can get more in, and you know, they might get Harry Kane, who knows. But it's then the next appointment for Tottenham. It's going to be key, isn't it? But great result for them, 3-0 win as well. So they did really well. Just looking through, obviously, a story that caught my eye. Mauro Icardi, the Inter Milan captain, has been stripped of the captaincy. His contract talks have stalled, apparently. His wife's his agent.
Interesting.
Wasn't she thingy's? Maxi Lopez's missus, wasn't she? And Icardi.
Was that all that, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. But she's his agent. So the contract talks have stalled, and he's been left out, stripped of the captaincy and left out.
Well, didn't he announce it on Twitter before they even told him? They were like, we've got a new captain.
Yeah. And they've left him at home. He hasn't been taken to Vienna for their Europa League clash. And he's a quality player. Absolutely quality. But he's refused to travel with them because they stripped him of it. So he's had to stay at home. What do you make of that? Players saying, you took the captaincy off me, I'm not going.
No, that's... No.
Not feeling it?
No, come on. Grow up.
The best thing for him to do would have been play, score.
And go.
No, we'll just play and score. And then all you have to do is walk off, isn't it? And
you're a professional footballer, for God's sake. You haven't signed a contract, which is your right. The club could say you're not playing, but they haven't. He just said at the end of the day, if he's not committed himself to the club, then how can he be captain? How can you get behind somebody who hasn't committed himself to the future of the club? You know, especially somewhere like Italy, it's so important. Their leaders are so important. Like, there was a thing last season when in Italy where they did like a thing where we have in the Premier League, so everyone's got to wear the same captain's armband like we have. You know, it's all brand, same with the squad numbers and all that. And they were like, "Well, fine, yeah." And they were all like, "No." Like the Roma captain, the Rossi, was like, the armband is a proper like symbol of Rome, and they were like, "No, I'm wearing this because this means I'm the captain of Rome." Of Roma. It's not a generic. I'm not a generic thing. I am the captain of Roma. This means something to me. And you see that the armband on a lot of their players, it symbolises something from where they come from a lot of the times. So it's an important. I know that's just a thing, but it's an important. They're an important icon of their football club. They are the ambassador of their football club. And when you think about Italian football and Italian players, and who the captains are for years and years and years. Think about like Milan, Baresi, and then Maldini, and you think about them and go, and I think about Milan now and go, who's Milan's captain? Now I wouldn't have a clue. But you think about like Inter Milan, Zanetti for years and years. Juventus,
Argentinian captains, they loved them.
You know, Juventus, Platini was the captain, and Del Piero was the captain.
Buffon.
You know, Buffon. Roma, Totti was the icon of Rome. He was the icon of Rome. 21-year-old lad, captain armband. It means so much. The players put everything on those players. That's the difference in Italy to like our captains. They're the symbol. You go to Rome.
They don't speak to the ultras and everything.
Yeah, you go to Rome and you like everything is Roma. It's a bit like here. But everything was like Totti. He's the icon for Everton. The Rossi's took that over from like with his blessing. Like, yeah, that's a big thing. So for Inter, for them to take that off him, that's huge. Because otherwise, the ultras like you just mentioned would have been probably like, you're not committed to us, so why should the club give you the armband? So
fair play. Fair enough. Into obviously the league roundup as well. We'll move on from the Champions League and things like that. So we'll start off in Spain, and there was a derby the weekend. Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid. Real won 3-1. Casemiro scored after 16 minutes. Griezmann equalised. Ramos pen. Bale 74. Gareth Bale scored and did a gesture that is akin apparently to sticking the middle finger up. through Atletico fans in the talks now that he could face a 12-game ban for it.
Would you get a 12-game ban here if you stuck a finger up to fans?
Probably just get. I reckon you get like a 3-game ban. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Players don't
Get
tend
much,
to do
would
it.
you?
But 12-game ban.
That's pathetic.
Over a gesture.
That's pathetic.
It was his 100th goal for Real Madrid as well, which
That's amazing.
is incredible.
It's amazing.
You still keep thinking that he's only just gone there really, but
Is he the... Do you think he's the the best...
export.
I was going to say maker of cakes in the world.
Well, apparently he makes a cracking Victoria sponge.
Yeah, do you think he's the best foreign exporter from Britain?
Yeah. Beckham did fantastically well. He was great for Real Madrid. Done well at Galaxy. Obviously, been around, played for Milan, played for PSG. But I just think in terms of playing at the top level, hasn't he won 3 Champions Leagues?
Yeah.
So, and he scored 100 goals for Real Madrid.
Scored in Champions League finals.
So for me,
Two Champions League finals.
It's unquestionable.
And yet he doesn't seem to be like
a big
ever talked about like on that level.
No.
And that's not even in world football. I mean in British football.
Yeah.
It's like you think about the players that we put on a pedestal in this country. Gareth, I know he's not English, he's Welsh, but still if we're a union, you'd think that he would be on everything. He'd be on every advertising, everything, but he's not, and it's strange that I don't.
I think it's because.
Well, it might be him for a start.
Well, I think and I think secondly, who's his wife, who's his girlfriend, and
no, that's good.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, he doesn't. Listen,
so he doesn't.
No, listen.
The public
There's a difference between being in a magazine or doing that kind of thing that Beckham did. That's different. He obviously doesn't want that life, and that's great. You know, Beckham courted that life, and it suited him, and it suited his life after football. Bale doesn't want that, but you'd still think major brands would want him front and center. I mean, look at someone. I mean, I'm trying to think of other people.
Yeah, but if he doesn't generate that interest, people generally.
Do you? Well, what about? There's a lot of athletes now you see on TV, or a lot of cyclists, and they're not. They don't necessarily court
but
it.
where are they? They're in this country, aren't they?
No, I know. But that's what I don't understand. This man is in Champions League finals. He does adverts for he does like BT and things like that. I just find
he should do with Adidas, didn't he?
Yeah, he's still Adidas, but I don't know. I just find it a bit weird that people don't want him.
I just think it's because I honestly think it's because of the culture. He's not iconic because he just keeps himself.
But what about last year? So was he in the running for sports personality of the year? I don't know. See, the lad who's won a Champions League and scored two goals in the Champions League final. I don't even know if he was in the running for it.
How can he not be when he scored possibly the greatest Champions League goal ever? Possibly, I said. I mean, Zidane's was absolutely amazing, but a bicycle kick at 1-1. The importance of that goal. It is weird, but I think it's for that reason.
I think the only other one you could. I'm just trying to think of. John Charles was. I know it's not our area, but that was a huge.
That was a big thing.
That was a huge thing for the time, and he did brilliantly for them. And there's a few people who had really good careers abroad, like David Platt and
Mark Haitley was good for
Tony Cascarino
for Marseille on the wing. No, but Haitley did okay, and Gordon Cowans went off to Bari in the 80s for a couple of years and was all right, and Rush was awful.
Not to say no.
And, no, but I'm saying.
Ian Brady.
Yeah, they all had time abroad. Platt, you're right, probably he had a good
Gary
few
Lineker
years.
at Barca.
Lineker did okay. Steve Archibald.
It's not the same. No, McManaman, but again, he won a Champions League, but big part player. Owen Hargreaves, Bayern Munich, wasn't. Paul Lambert
won
a Champions League
with Dortmund, yeah.
But no, Bale's is the best. Bale's the best.
By far the best. So that victory, obviously, with
Real Madrid finding form just at the right time.
Well, the other week they were, Atletico were comfortably ahead of them, and now Madrid are in second.
Solari finding his feet.
45. Is he though?
Is he all that?
Is he? Could he do it on a wet Tuesday at Rochdale?
An Ibar.
An Ibar, yeah. Or Girona. Barcelona, of course, held to a 0-0 draw at Athletic Bilbao on Sunday evening. So Real Madrid now, they were 10 points behind a couple of weeks ago. It's now just 6. Both played the same amount of games with the goal difference. Barcelona plus 37, to Real Madrid plus 13. So that top three, 51 points Barcelona from 23 games. Real Madrid, 23 games played, 45 points. And Atletico Madrid, 23 games, 44 points. And then you'd have to go back to Sevilla in fourth on 37 points. So, interesting times there, but just shows you that, you know, Barca, who thought they probably had it sewn up a couple of weeks ago, all of a sudden, a little slight wobble as Madrid are finding form. Could be further twists in the tail. The story of the, well, not the story, but one that just caught my eye there was Eibar were 2-0 up at Sevilla with 7 minutes left. Then Ever Banega got sent off for Sevilla. So see the last 3 minutes out, 2-0 up. Ben Yedder 88, Sarabia 92, ends 2-2.
Oh God.
So frustrating for Eibar. But you're having a good season in 10. So yeah, off to Germany, which is another very, very competitive league. And Dortmund, who we spoke about in the Champions League, they were raced into a 3-goal lead against Hoffenheim on Saturday.
It's the most dangerous lead against Hoffenheim.
It is. Hoffenheim are notorious for giving you a 3-goal lead and then normally not coming back. Well, they are full on Duran. Sancho again, Goethe and Guerrero. But then, 75th minute, Belfodil, who Steve Walsh tried to buy, scored if the 75, Kaderbeck 83 and Belfodil again 87. Beware of players Walsh tried to
I was going to say, could have been the answer to all our prayers.
He could have got a hat-trick at Watford for all we know. But it ends 3-3, so Dortmund really blowing that, you know, a 3-goal lead and a real chance to keep Bayern Munich at bay. Bayern beat Schalke 3-1. On goal from Bruma, Lewandowski and Serge Gnabry. Kutucu for Schalke, but the lead now is 5 points. So Bayern pulling it back.
It'd be boss to go to a Dortmund game, wouldn't it? Because they sound like real entertainment. It would be really good to go to a Dortmund game. I aspire to go to Dortmund.
I think we should go to one.
I think we should go to one.
Mönchengladbach, who were in third, beaten 3-0 at home by Hertha Berlin. Solomon Kalou amongst the goals there. Hertha down in 8th. So throws Dortmund have stretched their lead over them to 8 points. So they're the top three. Dortmund 50. Bayern Munich 45 and Mönchengladbach 42. Red Bull Leipzig back in 4th on 38 points. Off to Italy. Fiorentina 0, Napoli 0. Was waiting for Kevin Morales, but he's injured, so he was never scoring a goal. Napoli dropping 2 points really, because Fiorentina are down in 10th. And you know, when you're chasing Juve, that is
you've got to win every game.
Exactly, you've literally got
to win every game,
every single game, because basically Juve are just amazing. Roma won 3-0 away at Chievo. Shawari, Dzeko and Kolarov on Friday night, and then Juventus I think played on Sunday. Bear with me 1 second. They did, and they won 3-0 at Sassuolo. Khedira, Cristiano Ronaldo as usual, Emre Can for them.
And obviously they just signed.
And
Ramsey,
the big news is Aaron Ramsey, 400 grand a week. Rambo.
Interesting.
We done a little video on this, so for more.
Well, it's on the Premier League show.
Yeah, it's on the Premier League show. So check that out. But just quickly, good sign for Juve.
Yeah, it's a good sign. Yeah.
It's good to see. I suppose it's good to see a lad who's playing.
Welshman. He's
been playing 13 football since he was 16. He was at Cardiff, and then he's been at Arsenal for 10 years, I think. So good to see a player like that move abroad and try his luck in somewhere like Serie A. So
I think more players should do it in this from the Premier League. I know that means maybe we'll lose a bit of talent, but why not? Let's see them abroad. Let's see what they're capable of. I think it gives them a better, especially for players like that. I think what it gives them is a different outlook on football that later on they can bring back to football, and you know, I suppose what he'll be looking at is his future after football as well, and seeing how, you know, if he's got any aspirations of being a coach or a manager, go and experience another way of football, so that when you become a coach or a manager, you can apply those tactics. It doesn't always work, of course, but But there's numerous reasons. I know it sounds stupid, but life after football is a lot longer than life in football. And you've got things like playing. Certainly, you've got things like, you know, if you've played abroad, then you've instantly got knowledge on that, and people will treat you so, and that all helps.
And it helps with everything, doesn't it? Whether he's going to be a pundit or whether he's going to be a manager or a coach or academy coach or whatever, it's a great experience, and obviously experiencing a new way of life and a new league. He's won the league in England, hasn't he? Has he? No, he did. But he's won FA Cups, hasn't he, and stuff. Played in the Champions League for Arsenal. 28, City aren't going to buy him. Liverpool probably wouldn't want to buy him really. So why not go to Juve and experience, then go and play with Ronaldo. Go and experience that for a year. And Inter won 1-0 at Parma. Martinez in the 79th minute, they're third. So Juve played 23 points, 63, won 20, drawn 3 at their 23, still unbeaten. Napoli 23 games, 52 points. Inter Milan 23 games, 43 points. So I think it's safe to say Juventus will win the league, and Napoli will finish runners-up. That's certainly what it looks like. France, Paris Saint-Germain won against Bordeaux 1-0. Edson Cavani with the penalty at the weekend. And their lead now at the top of the French league is 10 points. Lille still 10 points, but with 2 games in hand. Lille still pushing them, but they're not going to throw that away, are they? Lille won 2-0 at Loic Remy at Guingamp. Loic Remy getting a goal in the 94th minute. Who knew? Who knew Loic was still bouncing around, living the dream? Yeah, so they're gonna, that's sewn up, aren't they? Not gonna blow a 10-point lead in 2 games in hand, are they? And if you're Ghana, you're probably gutted because it's your league championship. Gutted, you got to play for Everton. Guaranteed league championship. Balotelli scored for Marseille on Friday night again, so coupling his opening 2 games, they're 6th. So top of the league, PSG 59 points in 22 games. Lille second, 49 points in 24 games. Lyon third, 43 points from 24 games. So good stuff. Interesting. Got anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring, I know we wanted to talk about this last week, but we sort of run out of time. There's the story of the footballer, refugee footballer Hakim Al-Arabi. I hope I've got that right. He was fighting extradition to his birth nation of Bahrain. If you didn't know any background, basically this guy had been given asylum in Australia and become a professional footballer. Not at the top. I don't think he's at the top level. Basically, while he was in Bahrain, he was outspoken about the regime there. He basically got set up. The government there said that he had participated in something when actually he was playing football, and he was actually live on TV at the time, and yet somehow, like these things happen, they made the charges stick. So he was in prison, and when he was in prison, apparently they kicked the living shit out of him, so that he couldn't play football. Essentially, he got away. He got to Australia, but then he went on He went on a honeymoon to Thailand, and he got arrested by Interpol, who said that there was a warrant out for Bahrain. From Bahrain, Thailand basically locked him, and they were looking to send him back, even though he was now essentially a citizen of Australia. So there's been much wrangling for a few weeks. He said he never thought didn't think he would ever see his missus again. Thought he was going to be sent back to Bahrain, where he thought he would be killed. But luckily enough, there was a lot of pressure put on them luckily a lot of high-profile Australians, because they see him as a citizen now. So, they backed him. It generated more and more press, and Thailand have effectively, had to bow down to this, and international law suggests that, this is the right thing. He shouldn't have been arrested in the first place by Interpol because of his status as of what he was in Australia. So it looks like it's worked out. He was met at the airport when he got back to Australia by former Australian national football team captain Craig Foster, who'd been doing a lot of things to do to the campaign He said, "This is a win for humanity, for the power of the citizens of the world demanding that human rights be protected." That's what Foster said. The Prime Minister of Australia said, Scott Morrison said, he welcomed the Thailand's government's decision to release him. That was after Bahrain had dropped the extradition request in a shock move. He said, we know all Australians will deeply appreciate the decision allowing him to return to his wife, family and friends. He was arrested on November the 27th, so that's how long he's been in prison for, in Thailand. And if you've ever seen one of those films about like Thailand traffickers, I think that's all you need to know about Thailand prisons. He said he was detained in 2012. He was arrested and detained in Bahrain for 3 months, accused of vandalising a police station during a protest. He told CNN that he'd been released because he presented evidence that he was playing football live on TV. 2 years later, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for the vandalism charge, even though he proved that he was on TV playing live. The footballer has been openly critical about Bahrain government and its record on human rights. He fled to Australia. He was granted refugee status in 2017. He now plays for semi-professional Melbourne-based club Pascoe Vale. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. But luckily enough, the pressure by people in Australia and about figures, in the right place have meant that he's rightly been released. Bahrain obviously felt the international pressure, and this is what happens. And I don't want to go all AOB here, by the way, but this is what happens when the right people in the right places put pressure on governments around the world when wrong things get done. But when you don't put pressure on, bad things happen more and more and more. So, regardless of what people may think on the terms of economics or whatever, if something bad happens, people should speak out about it, because that's the only way things will ever change. This lad could have easily just been forgotten about because he's a nobody in the eyes of the world. He's not even a professional footballer, so what does it matter? But the right people put pressure on and decided that it was completely wrong, and luckily he's back in Australia now with his wife, hopefully playing football soon. I don't know what. I mean, he won't be in the right condition at the moment, but hopefully playing football. But just having a normal life and not fearing going back to a country where he would just be killed and forgot about. So, thank goodness the right things happened.
Yeah, common sense and good human concern has prevailed. Just very quickly, just remember this one. Paul Scholes, manager of Oldham, in football. He said Marino's going to be having the knives out for him straight away.
Yeah, because he
hates him, yeah. But they won 4-1. Jose Baxter scored the first goal of the Paul Scholes reign. He beat Yeovil 4-1. Be interesting to see how he does, because he's when you listen to him, I know he's a bit of a miserable guy when he talks.
He's got standards.
But he's got really good standards, and he's really intelligent, and as a footballer he was incredible.
Well, that leads sort of nicely but not nicely onto the news that Eric Harrison has passed away. Former coach at Man United, bought
assistant manager at Everton as well for 9 years. Well, he was at Everton for 9 years, but assistant manager to Gordon Lee,
but he basically brought the class of 92 through, and they all absolutely idolise him. They see him as their boss. I mean, Ferguson was ultimately their boss, but he was the man who turned them into men.
Well, David Beckham come out and said we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for him. So, that's. And
if you watch the class of '92, he's all over it. They talk about him, but they love him. He's like a father figure to all of them. So,
because academies like it all, but totally different. That time,
hands on.
Now they get pure everything done for them. They get their arses wiped and everything. Whereas when he was doing it,
tough love.
A couple of them tough love. You get you through and get you into the first team, and that team that come through, those players.
You just wonder, don't you? You wonder if he was at Everton for 9 years, did he put things in place that
then comes to fruition? Gary Stevens.
Some things don't always work out straight away. It takes time for things to be in place that other people benefit from. I mean, I always say, 95 Everton winning the cup. people forget how influential Howard Kendall was with that team.
Yeah. We only left in '94.
People coming through,
December,
players that he bought. You sometimes forget what's gone on before. You should never. So, what I love about that,
I say that now with Steve Welsh.
Yeah.
You know, when I look at our team now, you can never forget.
What I love about that, those two stories is, I know he won't know Paul Scholes has become manager because the nature of his illness was that it was brain related. So I think he had dementia. So he probably wouldn't have known. He's had it for 4 years.
Yeah.
But the fact that all those people are all in like prominent roles.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Beckham owns a club, Miami. He also owns Salford. Gary Neville.
He's got a statue in LA.
Phil Neville is England ladies manager. Paul Scholes has become a manager. Ryan Giggs has become the Welsh, and there's a very good power.
Coach at United.
And there's very good power. Paddy Power Avid,
Yeah,
which is amazing.
Power Avid with Rodri Giggs. Yeah.
They're all in real.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're only a few of the handful of people, but it's really good that's his legacy. What a legacy that is! What a legacy!
Those lads basically turned United into a force.
Yeah.
I know Ferguson moulded them better.
Not with kids.
Exactly. You know, and that's why Alan Hansen had that long, successful career as a manager. Or not.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done for this week.
There you go.
Tell your mates.
The boss. Footy Show.
Well, everything.
And
thanks for your show suggestions. Keep them coming in. But more importantly, tell your mates. Get these patrons up. See you later.